Be advised that the views and opinions of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Good morning, Philippines. You're watching the Business Portal, your information source to business trends, opportunities, and money-wise tips. Coming to you live on Channel 8 via Destiny Cable and Channel 213 via Sky Cable and Channel 1 via GSAT. Good morning. I am your host, Rowena Suarez, and you can call me Ro for short. Our segment, Investment Academy, talks about the different ways to increase investment capacity, financial literacy, and awareness. Investment Academy will show Filipinos not only how to make money, but also how to create wealth. Let's start our show with our Just Ask Ro portion. For questions, you may get in touch with us at 0917-862-7576. That's 0917-86-AskRo and justaskro@gmail.com. You can also follow me at Twitter, just_AskRo, and my Instagram, justaskro. You can also view the show on YouTube, Investment Academy by Rowena Suarez. Okay, today our guest will be the head of tax division of the Punong Bayan and Araulio law firm. And she will talk about estate planning and the tax implications on how we plan for our estate. So let us welcome our guest today, beautiful Miss Attorney Leah Roque. Good morning,
Good
Attorney.
morning, Ro.
And
Good morning to your viewers.
thank you for taking time out from your busy schedule to be with us today.
Yeah, our pleasure.
So, just a little bit of background, no? Your education and professional background. So, you always wanted to be a lawyer?
Yeah, ever since I was small, siguro it starts mga 6 years old, no? When children were just bragging to their playmates, what do you want to be when you grow up? I chose being a lawyer, and then I guess it stuck. And then, buti naman na pangatawanan ko.
Pero is that also what your parents wanted for you?
I guess, you know how parents are here in the Philippines, no? They all want their children to be either lawyers or doctors.
I'm like that. I guess I'm the typical, because my daughter, my eldest daughter, wanted to be a lawyer when she was young, and now she's graduating college. She goes, Mom, I don't know if I want to be one. So I'm like heartbroken.
Yeah.
Anyway, so and then from then on,
and then I went to UP Diliman. I took up my Bachelor of Communications in Journalism. Kasi I thought I'd be a litigation lawyer, and most litigation lawyers do a lot of writing. That's why I took up communications. And then I took up my Bachelor of Laws in San Beda College.
And why tax law then?
Well, yun nga, I thought I would be a litigation lawyer, no? So I joined a law firm early on, and it's a small law firm. And then they do a lot of liquidation. So I realized early on na yung litigation pala, it's very emotionally taxing. One anecdote I usually tell the people who ask me is that one time there was a 70-year-old couple who went to our office and said that, Attorney, wag niyo naman kaming paalisin dun sa bahay namin. Because we were liquidating so we had to eject them. And then they would say that, where will we go if you ask us to leave the house? So it's so emotionally draining. And I told myself, I can't do this. So that's why I went to tax. At least you deal with corporations, you deal with numbers, hindi masyadong emotional. So doon nag-start. Sometime in 1996, I joined an accounting firm. And then up to now, Punong Bayan and Araulio is an accounting firm. So that's why I'm still in tax.
Okay, so, and you've been a tax lawyer ever since?
Yes.
After that time when this couple consulted you?
Yeah, and that was just like the first 6 months of my practice. So all throughout my practice, it's really been tax.
And how is it? How are you like dealing with so far? How is it? Do you like it?
Yeah, I love tax law. Hindi ka siguro magtatagal sa tax law kung hindi mo siya talaga gusto. So it appeals it appeals to the geek in me, because tax is you have to be you have to want to research every time, ganyan, study every time. So that's why I enjoy tax, especially now maraming nababago. Medyo frustrating, no?
So you have to always study and study
Yes,
it, right?
yes. And keep up, no? Hindi lang kasi, hindi lang yung formal
Oo.
Kailangan bantayan mo rin yung mga informal na, okay, may change in policy although wala namang na-issuing regulation. So, yun.
Okay, so, let's get down to business.
Yeah.
What is estate planning?
Yeah. Estate planning, it's really a method or a process whereby you dispose of your properties to your heirs, no, to the people that you want to give your property, to avoid, we use the word avoid, no, not evade, the heavy taxes that will come if you delay it, and when estate tax would come in. So it's a planning before the time, okay, and then so that you'll be able to, one, what's our objective? Well, we want to dispose of our asset, no, equally, equitably, okay? And avoid yung dissipation of assets because of the very high tax for estate taxes. So, yun yung major, no?
What compromises an estate? Is this just real estate?
Ano, actually, it includes everything that the decedent owns. So, it would include the cars, no? The jewelries. Kasi paintings, anything of value that the decedent owns. So, hindi lang yung mga nire-register na property because some people think it's just really the real estate, no? But if you think about it, everything that the decedent owns, personal, real, even intangibles.
Intangibles like?
For example, meron siyang mga rights over books. So, kasama lahat
So, who
yan.
quantifies it? Like jewelry, I mean, it's in your safe.
Yes.
So, how does it get quantified in
Fair
that part of
market
the estate?
value. We always use fair market value. So, siguro sa jewelry, you'd have to ask somebody who would know, no? And then, the same thing for painting. For mga real properties, madali yun because there's zonal value and then there's
And is
assessed
it
value.
also by zonal value?
Yes.
It's quantified by the zonal value.
For real property.
For real
oo.
property.
So, usually you use either zonal value or assessed value, whichever is higher.
Okay. No, because I'm just thinking, no, like jewelry. Like jewelry. How will it be part of the estate? Meaning, kunyari, like just like recently, my grandmother passed, and there are 10 kids.
Pinaghiwa-hiwalay na lang.
So they're like the jewelries are all there. So kanino yan? How is that quantified? So will they still pay tax for that? I mean, these are properties inside the safe na hindi naman you don't register these things, di ba?
Correct. Yeah, but iba kasi if we want to be academic about it and we just talk about what the law requires.
Okay.
So the law requires that all the assets, so real and personal, no, as we've mentioned. So kung jewelry, then sasama yan sa CPA report, and then they would put in the fair market, as I've said, the fair market value of the property, and that will be the basis for determining the gross estate.
But like the jewelry, you don't have to write it down, do you?
Academically,
And you
kasi
have to,
mahirap,
no? Because it's part of the
correct.
estate.
Yes.
What if I know there are two kinds of will, the holographic and the
Oh gosh,
the
estate,
interstate, right? So what if it's in the holographic will? The holographic is actually a will that the
You
person
write down.
writes, right? Like, okay, let's say this jewelry will go to this daughter, this other jewelry will go to this daughter. So how will that be? How will that be disposed? Will they follow that holographic will?
That's the will of the decedent, no? So, if the will does not violate yung mga legitim na sinasabi natin,
What is legitim?
Legitim kasi is if you have compulsory heirs, then yun yung part of the estate na you're entitled to. Kunyari, dalawa kayong anak, or and then andun yung mom nyo. So, and then, so theoretically, 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, no? So, dapat ganon yung hatian. So, kung ganon yung pagkahati dun sa will, then you follow it because that's the will of your of the person who passed on. May iba lang kung na-violate yung legitime mo, syempre. Kunyari, ang napunta lang sa'yo is 1/6 and you're entitled to 1/3. Medyo sasama yung loob mo. And you have cause for questioning that, no? But normally, kung ganun talaga, then you follow the will of the decedent, diba?
And that will entail tax as well.
Yeah, oo. Everything that passed on will be transferred after the point of death from the decedent to his heirs would be subject to estate tax.
I see. And so why is it important to plan? I mean, aside from the tax implications.
We always tell our clients that you have to plan ahead. Why? Kasi you don't want your heirs to be squabbling, diba? Or fighting with each other after. So, when we talk to our clients and then on the first meeting, we always tell them that don't just impose your will on your heirs. Diba? Try to talk to them and try to, yung equitable and fair. No? And minsan din kasi sometimes the parents just want to give a particular portion. Okay? Not knowing na hindi naman pala interesado doon yung heir niya, no? So, pangit kasi kung after the fact lalabas yung mga issues. So, always talk to your heirs, try to understand what they want, and of course, try to be fair, diba?
And is there let's say there's no will, there's no holographic will, what is going to be followed?
Then, yun nga, yung sa legitim, which is what we call intestate succession, and it's provided in the law. Ano yung, but that only says yung percentage or portion of the property that you're entitled to. Of course, it doesn't say that the bigger house would go to the panganay and the smaller house would go to the bunso. So, the law would say, what portion of the property are you entitled to? So, some clients would palaging tatanungin nila, paano yan? I have a house in Dasma, I have a house in Forbes, let's say, and I have 2 children. Which one do I give to the panganay?
Yeah.
Which one do I give to the bunso? And that's where the family should start talking, diba? Para they are able to talk about this and resolve before any problems would occur.
Okay, so like that, diba? You bequeath it to your, let's say, one for the Dasma property, one for the Forbes property, and of course their taxes entailed there. The estate tax, I know, is, if you're, correct me if I'm wrong, if your estate is 10 million and over, it's 20%.
20%, yes, that's the top
right?
rate.
That's the rate. But they always say, I don't know if you've come across this na, what if I just transfer the name na lang so I don't have to pay 20%? Is that possible?
Yan yung mga sinasabi natin na estate planning devices, no? Kasi if you don't plan, then everything will be subject to estate tax. Ngayon, when we say estate planning, aside from yun nga, disposing of your property earlier, it tries to avoid yung estate tax being imposed on the transfer.
Yeah.
So, we'll now discuss ano yung posible, how do you plan, how can you transfer your property without incurring the 20% estate tax?
Yeah.
So, there are several devices that you can use. One of them would be sale, no? Yun yung sinasabi natin
Sale before death.
Sale before death, early on, no? So, when you're thinking of how would I transfer the property, when would I transfer it, so, and if you decide, okay, this is the time that I would transfer it to my daughter, so you can look at one, selling it to her. That's the tax rate there is, since this is a capital property, then it's 6% on the fair market value. That's the capital gains tax, and then of course there are DST, documentary stamp tax, about
3%, I think.
1.5.
1.5.
So, that's sale. Or, kung wala naman siyang pangbili, then you can look at donation. Okay, donation naman, the top rate is 15%. And
15.
then,
That's higher.
15, well,
20 per lang.
20
Okay.
sa kabila,
Yeah.
no? But of course, yung donation at saka estate, you have to do your math, eh. Kasi sa estate tax, meron siyang mga deductions that you can put in before you arrive at the net tax, at the net
Diba it's
estate.
parang 1.2 million, you can deduct 1.2 million?
For estate tax, there are several items that you can deduct. For example, funeral expenses, up to a maximum of about 200,000. Medical bills, and of course, yung decedent, he probably had to be confined, so up to a maximum of about 500,000. Claims against the estate. So, meron siyang mga deductions na pwede mong, which could lessen the taxable net estate. While in donation, wala kang deduction doon eh. The only exempt portion is the 100,000.
Okay.
So, but the good thing about donation, you can plan it eh. And the taxation on donation is on an annual basis. So, let's say you have a property of mga 20 million worth, no? And pwede ka mag-donate ng pakonti-konti every year, diba? And since donor's tax naman is scheduler din siya eh. Top rate lang yung 15. So, taon-taon, pwede siguro, and then, para mas mababa yung...
What is the rate if it's yearly kung gagawin taon-taon yan? Ano yung rate?
It follows the same rate. Top rate
okay.
of 15. It's just a scheduler siya. I see... Hindi ko masyado kabisado yung schedule. But of course, the lower the value, the lower the rate is. So, kung anuhin mo nga...
Is it donation is the same as gratuity tax?
Yeah, yes.
It's the
because
same.
Donation naman is gratuity, no?
So
Gift tax.
So,
yan.
it's estate, gratuity, or donation, and what else can be done?
Yung madalas nating nadidinig is transfer to a controlled corporation. Actually, madalas ako matanong dyan eh. Just last week, a relative of mine was saying, we're thinking of doing our estate planning now. So we want to transfer everything to a corporation and then just issue shares later on to our children or transfer the shares to the children. What happens there is that you have let's say, a pool of assets, no? Let's say, you have a business na dati marami siyang assets, no? You'll transfer it to a corporation, and then the corporation will now issue shares to you. Okay? So that portion of the transfer and incorporation is not subject to tax. Okay? And then later on, you would either issue shares to your heirs or you will sell your shares to the heirs. And sale of shares, if it's not capital, is considered, if it's capital, is subject to a capital gains tax of 5 to 10%.
So I guess that's the most economical way? You think?
Depende kasi sa value ng assets, no? Kasi may tax-free ka nga. At saka yung sinasabi natin na, I always tell the clients, when you do this portion, yung transfer to a controlled corporation, don't just lump everything to that corporation. Kasi some of the people who do estate planning, lalagay nila lahat ng assets, no? Pati yung mga bahay na tinitira nila. So,
why not?
Kasi, based on experience, and this has happened before, so there was a couple and they put in all their capital assets, non-business assets, to a corporation. So it consisted of several houses, no? And kasi medyo real estate rich sila. Let's say 5 houses where the 5 children are living, no? So right after the death of the parents, the children right away wanted to have their own house, no? Gusto nilang malipat yung title sa kanila, diba? Because that's normal eh. You want to own the house that you live in. The problem is now the properties are inside the corporation. Okay? And this became ordinary assets of the corporation. So if the corporation now sells the house and lot to the children, 30% na yung income tax doon on the net income. And of course, it's vatable pa, 12% VAT.
So, 30 plus 12.
Oo. So, the weird thing about real property is sometimes mabilis yung appreciation of the value, no? So, yung cost mo doon, when your parents bought it and put it in the controlled corporation, posibleng 2 million.
Tapos,
and then 20 years down the line, when you've decided to sell it, naging malaki na, 30 million na pala because it's somewhere in Makati, no? So, medyo mataas din yung...
So that's the thing that sometimes is not advisable. Because in turn, mas tumataas yung tax na babayaran
Correct.
if
So,
they want to transfer.
Oo. So, usually, I tell the clients na try to categorize your assets, no? Huwag lahat ng assets ilalagay sa corporation. For me, it would be better if you put in the business assets in a corporation. Okay? Kasi you achieve your objective, no? If you put it in a business in a corporation, one would be you want to consolidate all your assets or all your business assets, diba? And you have like a holdco there where your children would now own shares and they would own the corporation. And then pwede ma-professionalize na rin yung management of all the assets, no?
Yeah. So this actually is very interesting, no? That we have to just pause for a break and we continue our discussion right after. So just stay tuned, and if you have questions, 0917-862-7576.